what makes a good board game bag to store all these games of differing sizes? Well, we took a look. We took a good hard look at this. I play board games a lot, often outside my home, whether it be indoor or outdoor. I have my own bags I've used for 5 years, but I was thinking about what's out there. What's the difference between a $30 inexpensive bag versus the biggest board game bag ever created?
An astronaut backpack?
Yeah, like those comedic backpacks. What bag is a good idea and what's not amongst many of these random Amazon brands, but then also some legit brands. Some that maybe weren't initially designed for board gaming. After loading up each bag in various ways and trying to use as many features as we can of the bags and even running around with each, I'll be assigning some scores. Then I'll share some final thoughts at the end after looking at these 10 board game bags. This video is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Yep, it's a classic Monopoly, but reimagined. Let's actually take a look at me playing it on mobile. So Monopoly Go is all about living the high-stakes fantasy of a real estate tycoon as you build up different cities. So you roll the dice and go around the Monopoly board, getting benefits from different spaces. And look, if you land on Railroad, you heist other players. You can see how you'll eventually mess with your friends' landmarks here. Different from the original Monopoly, you can keep rolling the dice as you save up rolls. And for me being busy making content for you guys, I can just set it to auto roll and see the Monopoly money roll in. When you generate your Monopoly Go wealth, you can build up your town. First, we're building up New York with all these landmarks. And once your town gets cool enough, you'll get houses so that others have to pay you for rent on the board. And man, look at that, goodness me, I eventually owned New York. Now onwards to London. Now you know how to play Monopoly Go. Head to the description below or scan this QR code to go ahead and play. Here we go. I know this looks like a giant clump of bags, but I've organized these into 3 different sections to start this review. First are the rectangular bags, which are pretty much the most standard feeling board game bag. That'll give us a reference point for when we go smaller to the more briefcase style bags that fit less. Then we'll have the more unconventional bags before getting to our final thoughts. Rectangle bags. For these 3 rectangular box ones with interior dimensions all on screen, they're all the same thing. These ones mainly solve the problem of storing bigger games. Mostly they're designed around these square boxes. Fit in like that. These are FFG sized, Dominion sized, or Ticket to Ride sized games. You get the point. You've seen these around. And if a bag can hold enough of these big games, then they can fit even bigger square rectangle games. Hence why both TI4 and Eclipse at the same time can fit into bags of this category. First, we have this JDM carrier backpack slash duffel. It's a $44 straightforward, no nonsense bag. It's easy to load with the standard rectangle sizing, which fits an insane amount of games. Solid. You can easily dump games inside and take them out. JDM Lab is also touting 3 ways to carry the bag, and yeah, this certainly does all of them. All right. Okay, not bad. Pretty cool how the backpack straps stow away. Speaking of JDM Lab, I have no idea what their company really is, because when you click through on Amazon, this is the only product they list. So yeah, it's just some random Chinese brand, I suppose. Okay, but what's not so good about the product is that the bag doesn't feel that good. I would describe it as very basic nylon and looks insanely generic. Luckily, the bottom has these plastic bumpers, so your bag won't be deteriorating too quickly outside. Amazon description claims the exterior is water resistance. I guess it's nylon. I have also observed that it's a little less tall than the other rectangle bag, so zipping it up after a full load is a bit trickier. And it being a giant box is kind of uncomfortable to carry when fully loaded. The shoulder strap and backpack are whatever feeling. Board game bag score, C-, slightly below average. It definitely does a job, but doesn't really do anything remarkable, and while not feeling strictly shoddy quality, it doesn't inspire confidence while using it. Fashion score, I don't know, it depends how you carry it. As a backpack, it's obviously a little bit comical to have a square shape.
It just feels kind of thin.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt as a generic looking bag and say C-. Another straightforward bag is this BCW Spectrum, this tote bag slash duffel. It's $49 and has the exact same interior dimensions as before. By the way, BCW is a storage company that makes all sorts of solutions for comics and games and sports with an actual website. Huzzah. This bag is claiming a polypropylene exterior, but it just feels similar to a canvas bag to me. Back to storage, yes, it fits a ton of games, but it has its top zipper open all the way down, which I thought was a useless addition until I looked up this bag and you can store horizontal games. There's actually really nothing bad about this bag. Like sure, there's a section at the front to fit more games that is just Velcro. That's probably not the nicest feeling thing, but it works. Board game bag score, B+. It looks and feels well built for the price, with it also being definitely the heaviest bag maybe as a consequence of its outside material. Whew, that's pretty heavy. It also doesn't have the backpack possibility, but has a zipper coming all the way down, which is cool. Fashion score, B. It's a bit generic, but doesn't look like a boring box, and the rainbow stitching actually grew on me. Then we have the bag that inspired this video, this BoardGameTables.com, what a name, duffel padded board game carrier. It's $70, and so for $25 more than the previous two, it's way more comfortable and better looking. It boasts the 3 ways to carry, like the JDM bag, and while the straps don't stow away, it's nice that they give you a Velcro band to tie up the straps so they're more out of the way. Actually, speaking of niceness, this company is actually doing its user experience in initially sealing this in a branded plastic bag that explains the capacity of said bag. It's just a pleasant unboxing experience and makes this much more giftable. I mean, BoardGameTables.com, now known as AllPlay, are all about board gaming, so this makes sense. This carrier is also the easiest to load out of the rectangle bags, with a very rigid structure that just wants to stay upright. Even the carry handle has some padding. With the padding everywhere and more of a gentle exterior, it just makes it more comfortable to carry around, whether it be on your shoulder or on your back. Nice, wow, feels good. Holy cow. Yeah, it's because of the material, I think. Yeah, it actually feels really solid. Board game bag score, A. It's pleasant to use all the way around, and although more expensive than its generic competitors, it's pretty much better at everything you'd want from a board game bag. Fashion score, B+. It's a nice color and its material makes it not look like a boring box. I just wish it didn't say BoardGameTables.com on a bag, cause man, saying tables on a bag with a website is just weird, you know? Those are the branded board game bags that you're supposed to buy, but now let's compare it to what I use for my normal board game moving around. This Peak Design travel duffel, which I would describe as exceptional build quality. This has literally been around the globe with me carrying camera gear, got lost at the LAX airport, and it's still kicking around. Yeah, this isn't a board game bag, so I found it to be harder to load than board game bags, and it has a very particular acceptance of games. Basically, it fits 2 square boxes and then a handful of smaller games, which fits many game nights. The bottom is strong but not scratchy, so I can easily place it on any table. It's also ridiculously comfortable to carry on your shoulder compared to the board game bags because there's padding all across this Peak Design strap. Oh, this actually broke once while I was running and had a lot of weight in the bag, and Peak Design replaced it for free because lifetime warranty, baby. What's not so good about this? Well, the price is ridiculous at $140, but again, lifetime warranty. And again, it also has a weird type of loading capacity, and I would say these top handles are not the most comfortable, although they are magnetic. Board game bag score, B-. Fits a surprising amount of medium-sized games comfortably, is comfortable, the price just really holds it back. Fashion score, A. Clean black duffel. You could rob a bank and no one would bat an eye that you're a robber. Bye. Briefcase bags. Smaller bags that kind of feel like a suitcase. So first off is this Gator Equipment Mixer bag. Wait, it doesn't say board game in the name. Well, this came up when I Amazon searched board game bags, and I know Gator from all their music equipment stuff. I know it's mostly super high quality instrument bags. So someone or something is relating this to board games, and so I'm really curious what this $50 small bag can do for my collection. And yeah, great success. While it seems small and well folded down, it can fit 2 square games very comfortably. And man, are those things gonna be secure in there. There's also room in the front if you want to put another small game. Build quality of this is amazing in general. The handle and zippers are the best I felt in any bag in my life. I'm not even kidding, it feels incredible. The bag is just very comfortable to move around, put on, and walk with. Aside from the size maybe not being what you want to store tons of games, my gripe with it is the bottom bumpers, which are spiked. Now I understand why you'd want it like this for music gear, since you'll be performing music in all sorts of areas and you want your bag to not slide. But for board games, this is not a good fit. Thing is, when you put something so spiky on a table for when you're unloading your board games, you can scratch up that table. That's not fun. Board game bag score, B+. Does everything it needs to do for the size, and I was gonna say you get what you pay for in quality, but I think the quality is punching above its price point. Fashion score, A. A handsome, sturdy looking bag. This next bag is almost exactly the same size and price by USA Gear. This is a company that sells all sorts of bags just like Gator. However, this time they're stressing that board game usage with games like Cards Against Humanity, Risk, Yahtzee, okay, here we go. Luckily, this actually fits one full-size square game. And then there's a divider to then a bunch of other dividers. So yeah, you can carefully organize smaller party games here. I don't personally see a need to organize games in this way, and we were thinking that miniatures could fit here, but no, this isn't protected enough. My hot take is that they likely just took some templates from selling camera and electronic bags and thought it would work for board gamers. Like, why would you need a security strap for board games? I will say that it generally feels sturdy, there's a pocket on the front to store more things, and so games won't dent while you're using this bag. It's just that the form factor when you open it up is weird. But also the zippers feel god-awful terrible to use. Board game bag score, C-. Doesn't feel good to use zippers, dividers aren't really that useful for board games. You might just end up taking out most of the dividers, and you probably just want more space and ease of use instead. Fashion score, C, it's a boring, okay, black looking bag.
Unconventional bags.
Okay, let's get to these bags that didn't fit into the previous categories, and this is going to get weirder and weirder as we go down the list. Okay, first is a top shelf fun game night at 50 bucks, which looks like a square cooler, but is boasting the feature of opening it from the front. Honestly, not a bad idea. Instead of fitting 6 square boxes, this can fit 3.5 squares, which is a great compromise. You can still bring a lot to game night without having a giant weight on your back. Everything also feels like fairly good quality, with nice padding all around, and the metal connection for the strap is good. When you do this, it also means that your carrying handle stays intact, so you don't have to take this off. Pretty convenient. Side pockets are stretchy for one side, and the other side has a zipper. You can fit a couple of small decks of cards. What I did find weird is that the listing photos promise this cute printed design on the inside, and you don't get it. Not too big of a deal, but I did notice it, okay? The carrying strap does feel a bit papery too. Then I'm concerned that if the Velcro gets dirty, that it won't stick firmly, and then that the zippers that hold the games in could open on their own. And the top has a false access that is a bit confusing and won't really store any box over a couple inches. But you could totally put small rules or accessories in the mesh. Oh, then spiky on the bottom is bad. We don't like spiky. Bad. Board game bag score, B. A really nice compromise of size, function, and cost. It doesn't really do anything great besides form factor. The spiky on the bottom isn't as bad as other bags because this isn't that heavy. Fashion score, C. I mean, it looks like a cooler. Next we have the cheapest bag by far on this list, this ChromaCast board game, travel, and storage bag that I found on eBay for 30 bucks. Okay, yes, this listing doesn't really inspire confidence, and I later realized that ChromaCast actually sells musician equipment. So it's like a worse Gator cases, it seems like. This bag, in reality, is the musician's gear bag. Look at that guy, so happy. So does it fit games? Heck yeah, it does. Actually, a surprising amount at 3 square boxes, plus another medium-sized rectangle one. The zippers all feel chunky and great. And the top handle is really comfy despite it looking like boring rubber. Wearing it is actually surprisingly pleasant. It seems to wrap around your body in some mysterious way because it's not that boxy. However, we just gotta be judgmental and say it looks cheap. It has a really loud plastic sound when using it. There's really thin Velcro inside pockets that you're supposed to put music equipment in, and you can still access them when filling the bag full of board games, but these just don't feel good to use. Then the outside pocket is just really floppy feeling despite it having some cushion on front. The bottom of the case also just feels okay in quality. The carrying strap is very bare bones. Yeah, this bag just doesn't inspire that much luxury, but definitely looks like a workhorse. Board game bag score, C. It'll definitely fit a bunch of games, but I'm not really too sure about the quality in certain areas. But man, the zippers are good, and the price is sweet. So if you're on a budget, maybe why not? Fashion score, D+. I'm sorry, it just reminds me of Chromecast every time I look at it, and the front pocket feels like it's sagging out and just looks sad. Now for the most expensive bag on this list, my GoRuck GR1. This bag is crazy. So for those of you that don't know, this is a Special Forces approved backpack that was built to survive Baghdad with a bomb-proof laptop sleeve. Okay, trust me, I swear this relates to board games. A couple years ago, I realized that this minimalistic invincible bag lays completely open. So why not use it to transport board games? And it works. It fits 1 square box with some smaller games on top, with some space to spare, and there's room for a medium-sized game in the front pocket. And I know from experience traveling with this across the globe that this handles a ton of weight well and is really comfy. Catch is that you have to load it fully because it just feels unbalanced when not fully loaded with stuff. But that's really it for a bad thing. The cost on this is also freaking insane at 345 bucks with a lifetime warranty, of course. But yeah, that is straight up ridiculous, and I don't expect anyone to buy this just for board games. Board game bag score, D. Just way too expensive, but is legendary quality. I mean, this could get you out of a pickle if a zombie apocalypse happens during your game night. It's that good. Fashion score, A. I mean, I bought this specifically because I know it would fit me. So what could be weirder than a military-esque $300 backpack that I repurposed for board games? Well, it's another backpack. This one I've been teasing. This is May the Game Ultimate Board Game Backpack for 64 bucks. I'm not even kidding. It literally says May the Game right here. This is supposedly the biggest board game backpack ever made. So yeah, may the game be with you as you can fit an entire small collection in here. It's very intentionally designed to fit Gloomhaven and other big games. Or what we did, we filled it up with 8 to 9 square-shaped games with 2 compression straps. It even fits Guilty Gear Strive, a game that's so weirdly shaped it doesn't fit in any other bag we tried. Basically, if you take this fully loaded to a cabin trip, you're set. You don't need any other bags. And honestly, it's not even that uncomfortable on your back given how freaking heavy and big it is. And it does fold down pretty nicely when you're not using it. It actually kind of looks like a normal backpack, like this. Okay, but back to how heavy and big it is, it's honestly comical how they designed this. Like, it's not even a good idea for something to be sticking out so much from your back. Like, why would you need to carry this many games at once?
Wow, that is extraordinarily uncomfortable.
Try walking around with it. So this is how I put on a normal backpack. So I grab it like this. Oh my god, 25 pounds. Okay. Right now it's like sitting against my butt because it's so boxy. So I have some leverage actually to slide it on. I'm ready for school, Mom. It was pretty often that we would strain to put it on at about 30 pounds when loaded up. Then we'd be scared of accidentally knocking something over while using it. Can you imagine just hitting houseplants, vases, or people as you walk around a house? And remember how we brought up these bottom spikes being a bit sketchy for board game night usage? Well, it's really bad for May the Game because there's 4 of them, which by the way, feels sharper than any other bumper I felt. And the bag is so heavy and bulky that these bumpers can easily catch on your clothes when putting on the bag. I felt it about to rip up one of my shirts, so I had to wear a jacket while testing it. And there's no other way to hold this bag outside of on your back, where the top handle makes you hold it vertically, but it's too tall, so you can't even hold it like a briefcase. Probably the worst thing about this is the smell.
Cover your nostrils.
Oh my god, it smells so bad. Oh gosh, when you open this up, there's a sickening, cancerous plastic smell that I eventually had to wear N95 around in fear for my lungs. Oh. This will hopefully go away after a while, but think about how none of the other bags had such a terrible smell while opening them up. Then the outside pockets are poor Velcro that feel like a complete afterthought, but hey, I mean, if you really need to bring even more things to game nights, they will work. Lastly, for the bad, the branding feels like it's an utter odd taste. It actually says, May the Game, and then be with you on the tag. What does this mean? I guess they watched Star Wars and thought this was funny or cool for board gamers. Board game bag score. It's definitely not an F. D-. If it's so many games for the price, I don't think it'll break too soon, especially for how heavy it is, but it's also like, why would you need this? There's gotta be a better bag that can at least be held in different orientations for huge games. And this caused so much trouble with its smell and spiky bottom alone. Fashion score, A+. Okay, obviously kidding. I feel like I'm in part of some clown shtick using this. Like someone's gonna pop out of my bag and say, surprise. D- fashion score. It would be an F if it was a color I hated. Final observations and recommendations. So after quickly reviewing all 10 of these board game bags, what do I think? Well, this whole process actually went kind of exactly how I thought it would. The well-branded ones like board game tables, gator cases, and my current 2 bags all feel the best and definitely get the job done without hiccups. The random lesser brand ones are still quite good bang for buck, and they'll all genuinely provide some decent protection for your games, with frequent jankiness in at least one part of each bag. Like, the BoardGameTables.com bag definitely feels intentionally designed by someone who plays board games and made a bag for themselves. Whereas May the Game, it's like, oh, a bunch of people in a factory thought, oh, let's just make the biggest board game bag in the world to sell on Amazon. If it's Gloomhaven, that must be a good selling point, right? It feels comfortable enough on your back, bam, it's ready to sell.
Why the hell would you ever want this?
And this has a market for sure, since there's 50 plus bought every month, allegedly. But I'm thinking, you don't actually want the biggest board game bag. Like, when would you ever want to carry that many games at once? Are you prepared to carry on your back 25 to 30 pounds of board games? I consider myself pretty healthy and relatively tall, and it's still not easy for me to carry it.
Is it ripping? No?
Actually, for fun, I decided to test this monstrosity of a backpack even more after recording this video initially. And everyone of all ages, when they see it, immediately goes, WTF, is this some sort of joke? Hilarious enough, my friend's doorbell camera thought I was a group of people.
It's great.
And the sizing just makes it uncomfortable to take from a car to someone's house. Although it is a great conversation starter and can probably be some sort of costume. Some other observations is that the less boxy the bag is, the more comfortable it is to carry. I know, it sounds obvious, but this really hit home with so much weight inside each bag. And ultimately, since these are luxury products, bad zippers are a buzzkill, and you do want an outside material that feels good to use. Plus, you probably want some outside pockets that don't feel like afterthought add-ons. And beware of spiky bumper bottoms for board game bags. Maybe you can manually dole some of these if you decide to buy one of these bags. You're gonna scratch people's tables or stab yourself with the spikes putting them on. I've done both within the course of this video. Fortunately, my clothes have not received any real damage. For those on a budget watching this, I would say the most efficient solution is to not buy a board game bag at all. I know, great conclusion, right? But basically, you should go through your house and find something that's either a duffel bag you can repurpose for board gaming or repurpose a square big cooler you have. If you do want to buy a dedicated small protective bag, since you know for sure you're going to stay around medium weight and light games, go for the Gator Equipment Mixer case. If you're indulging in heavy Kickstarter stuff and campaign games, just spend a little extra and get the BoardGameTables.com bag. And when you need more space, just get another one of them. The little extra you spend for this bag is totally worth it versus the generic brands. And from personal experience buying one of their tables, their customer service is good. Granted, I haven't tried every bag online. These are a couple that didn't make the final cut, so if you've tried them, please let me know. For me personally, I really want to say I'll be using more of this Gator bag. I really want to, it just feels so good. But I just don't see it happening. My board game diet just consists of so many weirdly shaped and big games. This just isn't for me. So I'll be using the BoardGameTables.com one for when I need to hold big games like TI4, war games, etc, etc. During the other 80% of the time, I'll keep using my Peak Design duffel and bomb-proof backpack because I gotta get usage out of that lifetime warranty, you feel?
Oh, this is so nice. Oh my god. Oh, this is comical. Ah!
Sometimes the best board game bag is the one we had all along. Hey guys, thanks for watching. My curiosity about board game bags has been fully sated. I think I'm pretty good on board games bags for a while.
Like freaking performing surgery over here.
Let me know which bag is your favorite, if you have any suggestions on how to maybe tweak the bags to make them more usable, or if you have any bags that you like to use that I haven't seen. I don't know, if there's something really crazy, I might just dedicate an entire video to it. Like another game, like another one like May the Game. I don't want to grab it, it's so cumbersome. Yeah, thank you to all our patrons for making videos like this possible over here. Also people supporting us on Coffee. And as always, yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you to our Mad Lads of Cardboard over there. This was a crazy. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these bags.